So this is my run and gun tank build, I feel like. It's the best way to call it. Because I don't even use a shield. You know, you run, you flee if you have to, sprint for cover, use armor kits the fast way where they don't do as much, but whatever. You just gotta do it sometimes that way while you're running. It's also the only build where quick step feels useful in combat, not just simply to get to movement. Like, I'm always switching in and out of it in combat so I can keep getting that movement speed up. Because the whole point is, like, I need to get them quickly. I need to kill them fairly quickly, which is, again, why we use core set and a shotgun. And I need to get out if I have to. This was also a retaliation where he was using the most annoying directive for this build possible, which is Fog of War. So it made it, that's an annoying directive, period, but it's also really annoying when you're on this build because it's like, dude, like, I'm a tank, so I'm already in close range. I want to know where people are because I'm always surrounded for the most part. But also, it's like I'm not a pure tank, so generally I don't want to have them all around me. So generally I want to at least keep them in front of me in some way. So yeah, that was even more annoying. But you know what? It made it even more of a challenge to showcase this build that way. Now you see I'm using Iron Lung. I mean, yeah, I use Iron Lung as like an alternative to ranged. And then, honestly, if you notice you'll notice every enemy we kill for the most part is a status-based kill, which means that Survivalist makes even more sense to use, get even tankier, and then we actually get ammo for our crossbow constantly to the point that the crossbow, you'll see, is actually a weapon I use a lot. So really good for ranged, actually, or a combo with, like, incendiary grenades with follow-ups with explosive crossbows. That's the best thing. Like, Survivalist tree, we have incendiary grenades, we have Iron Lung, and of course we have Riot Foam. And then we use the shotgun with pure Immobilize for bonus damage to ensnared enemies. And then, yeah, even our crossbow makes them bleed. And if we switch to another weapon and kill them without our crossbow, that'll still count towards ammo towards it again. Like status-based ammo. Even the extra damage we give teammates based off status, for once in Survivalist, is actually good. Even the skill haste we get when we go into cover is even good, since we're constantly having to dive back in because we're, again, kind of running gun. But I want you to imagine this build when it's done, because what I think I'm going to do when I proto-upgrade it is, I don't think I'm actually going to get the status ones, the status duration buffs. We don't really need it. We're going to get another skill tier when we upgrade, make our ensnare even stronger. And honestly, if they ever make it so you can buff exotics and get Ninja Bike with an extra 1.5 skill tiers, I'll probably use that to get rid of another skill tier and actually gain another armor piece. Because the armor pieces you see with Core Set is actually key to the Riot Foam too, because it reduces our cooldown a bunch. It's kind of like a half skill tier, so it still makes our radius and duration still strong while reducing our cooldown a bunch on it too. So it's just the best of all worlds. We still have a decent amount of ammo for it, and yet we have a massive reduction on cooldown, and it's still good overall. But imagine, for that reason, we're going to go all quantum augments is what I intend to do. So eventually, he'll probably have like all 6-7 quantum augments, damage immunity chance augments buffed out. Imagine this build when that's maxed out, because at that point, I feel like at least in retaliation on Heroic, he'll be able to really just face tank at that point. Legendary Strongholds, you'll still have to use cover. I've used this guy in teams, and like not solo, but teams in Legendary Strongholds. He's still really good and still kind of plays similar to how he does here fairly well. Anyway, let's just get into it now.
I see your dirty face hide behind your collar. What is done in vain? Truth is hard to swallow, so you pray to God to justify the way you live a lie, live a lie, live a lie. And you take your time, and you do your crime. Will you leave your bed? I made mine.
my fingers go, living the dangerous life. Hey, 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 every day when I wake, I'm trying to get up, they're knocking me down. Hey, 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 when I need to be saved, you're making me strong, you're making me stand. Shot like a rocket up into the sky, nothing can stop me tonight. You make me feel invincible, earthquake powerful, just like a tidal wave. You make me brave, you're my titanium, fight so raising up, like the roar of victory in a stadium. Who can touch me, 'cause I'm, who can stop me tonight? You make me feel invincible. I feel it, invincible. I feel it, invincible. Here we go again, I will not give in. I've got a reason to fight. Every day we choose, we might win or lose. This is the dangerous life. Hey, 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 every day when I wake, they say that I'm gone, they say that they've won. Hey, 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 when I need to be saved, they're counting me out, but this is my round. Shot like a rocket up into the sky, nothing can stop me tonight. You make me feel invincible, earthquake powerful, just like a tidal wave. You make me brave, you're my titanium, fight so raising up, like the roar of victory in a stadium. Who can touch me, 'cause I'm, who can stop me tonight? You make me feel invincible. I feel it, invincible.
Okay, that was a band whose name I also can't remember. Damn, I need some coffee. Too bad we ran out 3 months ago. Anyways, welcome back to Rooftops Radio with Carrie.
You have left the group. Incoming backup request.